Hello friends, Amy R here with Prairie Paper and Ink. For today's video, I made a couple of slimline Easter cards. And I started off with the Basket Weave Slimline cover plate from Honeybee, and I die cut some white cardstock with that, and then just kind of showing it up close so you can see all the texture it creates. So that's kind of the base for my cards. And then I pulled out the Playful Pastels pattern paper. Say that 3 times fast. And Honeybee's Build an Egg wafer dies. I really like these sort of ombre solids, in the pack. Since the wafer dies already have little patterns like on them, I wanted to keep the colors kind of solid. So I trimmed out pieces from these papers, and while I was doing everything, I was like doing doubles of everything. And then once I've got all of my pattern paper, I'm actually going to use, I haven't shown this on video, I've had this for a while, is the Gemini Mini machine. It's my little baby die cut machine. Do you need multiples? No. I have a platinum, for my manual machines, I have a platinum, a Spellbinders platinum, and a platinum 6. The platinum's the big one. Platinum 6 is the normal size. But for my other manual machine, like my mini machine, this is what I've got, is this Gemini Mini. And I love it. It's just convenient when you're die cutting a bunch of multiple little things. The only thing I don't, I have a love-hate is the actual, cutting plates. I love that they're a folder, so they're connected. Because I have a tendency to let you find one plate and you can't find the other. But what I don't like about it is what they're made out of. They warp very quickly. But even I will use these to the better end. Mine will be so warped, they're basically U-shaped, and I will keep using them. So yeah, I like it though. It's a great little machine. It's got little suction cups on the bottom, so it does technically kind of hold itself in place, but I'm usually going too fast. And if you hold your hand on the top, it's just fine. I like the size of it too. The size of the plates for this are about 3x6, which is kind of mini slimline sized in a sense. So I can fit a lot of my, wafer dies like this or sentiments. When I'm doing a lot of little die cutting, I really like having a little mini machine. So I just thought I would show that and mention it. I think it's a great little machine. I really like it. There is also the Gemini Go. It's a little bit bigger. That one is electric, so it has a bigger footprint. I've shown that in videos a long time ago. I still use that. I don't have enough workspace to show all the things. But anyway, just showing you guys what I'm, all the random things I've been using. So I did all my die cutting, and then I used just the base, the plain wafer die from the Build an Egg set, and die cut a bunch of white cardstock with that I adhered all these little pattern paper die cuts to, so that it gives them a little bit of strength, because I planned on popping these up with some dimension. So I've got everything's die cut, everything's adhered. I need sentiments, so I'm using the Hoppy Easter stamp set from Honeybee. And I'm just arranging the sentiments I want to use in my mini Misty onto black cardstock. So I'm going to stamp these sentiments with clear embossing ink. I'd already used my anti-static powder tool. That just keeps the embossing powder from sticking to anything other than the stamped sentiments. And then I'd stamp the sentiments, flip the cardstock around, and stamp them a second time, since I'm doing 2 cards. And then I coated everything with detail white embossing powder. Melted all of that with my heat tool. And then, since this is a Honeybee set, there is coordinating wafer dies for the sentiments, which I just love. You can fussy cut sentiments. I rarely do it. And especially if I have the dies, I'm gonna use them. I don't know. I've said this a million times until, I sound like a broken record most days, but I like having the coordinating wafer dies for sentiments. It just makes my life easier. So I use the coordinating wafer dies, taped them into place with washi tape so they don't move when I run them through my little die cut machine. And then I wasn't going to use this little set, but then I had all these kind of larger chunks left over of that paper from die cutting all the eggs, and decided I would use this is the itty bitty eggs wafer die set. They're just little. They're just cute. So I used that to die cut the remainders of that paper, because I thought, I can just kind of line those up on the inside of the card, You guys know I like to add a little something to the inside, because I didn't want to have just the sentiment. So I just took those little pieces of pattern paper and just taped those little itty bitty dies into place with washi tape. Again, just to keep them in place because my little die cut folder here is warped. So die cut all those little eggs, and then I'll show in a second how I adhere those. So for the front of the card, I lined up all the eggs how I want them to look on the card. And I've shown this in other videos, but I just took a piece of washi tape and laid it across all those eggs so I could pick them all up, flip them over. You could also use press and seal. That works wonderfully as well. Either one works. So flip them over, and then that way I can add my adhesive all at once rather than doing everything individually, and trying to get everything lined up. So you just have to line it up once, washi tape or press and seal, press it down, flip it over, add your choice of adhesive. For this, I'm using Simon's Big Mama foam tape. Dimensionals would work, liquid adhesive, pick your poison. So I just used the Big Mama foam tape, peeled off the backing. I still have the washi tape in place, so I just kind of use that as my handle to then realign this across the center of my card front. And then I just carefully peel off the washi tape, and it's good to go. I didn't show how I did the second card on camera, but it'll be the same as how I do the inside. I just relined the eggs up on top of the ones already adhered and then did the same process, which I'll show on how I did on the inside, if that makes sense. So then for the sentiment, I just pop that up with just little thin 3D foam squares. And then my card bases are just more white cardstock that I cut to 7 inches by 8.5 inches. And then I'm scoring it at 3.5. So these will be 3.5 inch by 8.5 inch slimline cards. So scored these really well with my Teflon bone folder. And then I reinforce the fold with just the side of the bone folder just to get everything crisp. Especially when you're working with heavyweight cardstock, I find it takes a couple steps to get cards scored really well, but it's worth the 2 extra seconds. And then once my card bases are made, I'm going to adhere the sentiment. And then I'm going to line up the mini eggs, just mini eggs. Well, itty bitty eggs. Cadbury makes mini eggs. Oh, absolute favorite snack. I've been trying really hard. They're super expensive in Canada now, which is really annoying. I wait till they go on sale. But even then I try to limit. But anyway, back to this. I lined up the eggs. I did the same thing. I lined up the eggs. I used that same washi tape, picked them all up, put the adhesive on them, pressed it back down, and then carefully removed the washi tape because this was liquid adhesive. So it takes, a couple seconds longer than foam tape would. But then to repeat the process on the inside, and this is how I did it on the outside too, I just lined up the second set of eggs on top of the first ones. So then it's already done. I don't have to, refiddle, and then use the washi tape, picked up that second layer, and then I can just adhere that onto the inside of the second card. So if you were doing like multiple, mass producing, this would make things so much easier if you're dealing with several die cuts, etc. Either the washi tape or press and seal. Either one works. And it just makes life so much easier. I wish I had figured this out years ago. But anywho, got those adhered onto the inside of the card. So now the insides are complete. So then I just have to adhere the card fronts, and this basket weave cover plate die completely covers a 3.5 inch by 8.5 inch slimline card. So I got that adhered. And then as a final little bit of embellishment, there's the Playful Pastels gem stickers that Honeybee has that coordinate with the pattern paper. And they're all self-adhesive. So I just use my little Honeybee die cut tool just to kind of poke underneath them. And it just picks them up with the adhesive. And then I just press them into place just kind of randomly all around. Because since they match the pattern papers, it just worked. So I put the pink with the pink, yellow with yellow, etc., until I made my way over and to the purple gems. So got those put in place and did that for both cards. And that finished them off. Really simple, pastel, cute, slimline Easter cards. As always, I will have a link below the video to my blog post. I'll have the pictures in my blog post. I'll have picture links to everything if you want to check it out. All that info will be in the description box directly below the video if you're interested. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing, thumbs upping, commenting. I very much appreciate it. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye.